I stayed faithful for 7 years. She cheated and still made me the villain. My name's Evan. I'm 35 years old now, and for most of my adult life, I believed in loyalty, love, and doing the right thing. I believed in marriage. I believed in the vows we take. I believed in my wife. This is the story of how I was betrayed in the worst way possible, and how everyone I loved chose the person who broke me, over me. I was married for 7 years. I met Amber at a wedding. It was one of those fluke meetings where I wasn't supposed to be there. I was covering for a friend. She spilled wine on me. I made a dumb joke about it being a vintage Merlot cologne, and we laughed. That laugh, that's what got me. Her whole face lit up. She had that kind of laugh that made you forget your problems. I asked her out that night. We dated for 2 years before getting married. Everything just clicked. She was spontaneous, vibrant, full of life. She made me loosen up, and I brought calm into her chaos. That's what she used to say anyway. You're my calm. Our wedding was small, just 40 people. Backyard, string lights, her uncle grilling ribs and burgers. We didn't care about glitz. We cared about us. And that night, under those lights, she cried during her vows. Said she never believed she could trust a man until me. For years, we were that couple everyone envied. I'd come home from work and find post-it notes on the fridge. I miss you already. I baked your favorite muffins. I love being your wife. We took weekend trips. We danced in the kitchen. We made plans for the future, 2 kids, a dog, maybe move to the suburbs. Then our son, Noah, was born. He came a few years into the marriage. Amber cried when she held him for the first time. I did too. I looked at her in that hospital bed, sweaty and radiant, and I thought, I'll do anything for you both. Anything. That night, I held him and made a promise in my head. I'm going to be the kind of father I always wished I had. And for 3 years, I was. Diaper changes. Midnight rocking sessions. Singing lullabies even though I can't hold a tune. Taking shifts so Amber could sleep. I never missed a doctor's appointment. Never skipped story time. I thought we were strong. I thought we were happy. I was wrong. It started small. Amber got more distant. Her phone was always face down. She started working late, really late, for a job that never used to demand overtime. She stopped initiating hugs. She stopped laughing at my jokes. I asked if something was wrong. She said, I'm just tired, Evan. You know, being a mom is exhausting. Of course, I understood. I backed off. But weeks turned into months, and little things started to add up. Her late nights got more frequent. She started dressing up for work more than usual. There were charges on our joint account from places we never went. Once, I found a second phone charger under the passenger seat of her car. She said it belonged to her coworker, a girl, and laughed it off. But something in me twisted. One night, I called her while she said she was working. It rang 6 times before she picked up. Then I heard laughter in the background, a man's laughter. She said it was the janitor telling jokes. I decided to come home early one day. She didn't expect me. I used my key and quietly stepped inside. The house was silent. Our son was at daycare. As I walked down the hallway, I heard muffled voices coming from our bedroom. I stood there listening. A man's voice, then hers, laughing. I froze. My hands started to shake. I felt something inside me collapse. This weird, cold hollowness. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. I walked right back out, got in my car, and just drove. Nowhere in particular. Just drove for hours. I couldn't cry. Couldn't scream. I just felt numb. I didn't tell anyone. Instead, I started looking for proof. Over the next few weeks, I became a man I didn't recognize. I checked her phone when she slept. I tracked her GPS. I took screenshots. I even installed a small voice recorder under the seat of her car. I hated doing it. I felt like a criminal. But I needed the truth. And I got it. Texts, voicemails, photos. Her telling some guy she loved how alive he made her feel. Telling him she wished I'd just get the hint and leave. She said that about me. After everything. I confronted her a few days later. I sat her down in the kitchen and calmly asked, "Are you cheating on me?" She blinked, paused, then narrowed her eyes. "What the hell kind of question is that?" "I found the messages," I said. "You've been seeing someone else." She looked me dead in the eye and said, "No, I haven't. You're being paranoid again." Again. That word. She flipped it on me. Made it about my trust issues. Said I was twisting things. That I was sick. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood up, went to our room, and packed a bag. I filed for divorce that week. That's when she turned into someone I didn't even recognize. She claimed I had been emotionally abusive, that I gaslit her, that I was cold and distant. She cried in front of the mediator, said she was terrified for her and Noah's safety, told the court I was trying to ruin her life. Even though I had everything, screenshots, receipts, even audio, her lawyer twisted it, said I'd spied on her, that I'd doctored evidence. And people believed her. But the worst part was Noah. I loved that boy with everything in me. But there was always this quiet voice in the back of my head. He didn't look like me. I ignored it for years, thought it was insecurity. But now, after everything, I had to know. I requested a DNA test. Amber lost her mind, screamed at me, accused me of being a monster, said I was destroying Noah's life. But I needed the truth. The results? He wasn't mine. I wasn't Noah's biological father. And still, she denied everything. Said I must have tampered with the results. Said she didn't even know who that man was anymore. Said I was trying to punish her by stealing her son. And just when I thought it couldn't hurt worse, my own family sided with her. My mom called me after court. You didn't have to do the DNA test, she said. He's your son in every way that matters. My sister messaged Amber to check if she was okay. Brought her dinner. Comforted her. My dad told me I was being vindictive, that real men don't hold grudges. Amber had told them everything, her version of it, that I was angry, controlling, that I abandoned her. She left out the cheating, the lies, the other man, and they bought it. I sat alone in my apartment one night, divorced, childless, disowned by my own family, and realized something horrifying. I could have forgiven her if she'd told the truth, if she'd owned up, if she had fallen to her knees, even once, and said, I'm sorry. But she never did. Until the day the divorce was finalized. She came alone. Her hair was tied back. No makeup. She looked tired, worn down. She didn't speak during the hearing. When it ended, I started to leave. She reached for my arm. Wait, she said. Her voice cracked. I stopped. She handed me a small envelope. Inside was a photo of Noah, holding a drawing. It was me, a stick figure with a beard and glasses. He'd written Daddy above it. He still asks about you, she whispered. I told him you were working, that you'd come back. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Then she said it. I'm sorry, Evan. I was stupid. I was scared. I thought if I admitted the truth, I'd lose everything. You did, I said quietly. You lost me. And I walked away. That was a year ago. I live in Seattle now. Different coast. Different life. I cut off contact with Amber. I changed my number. I only heard about Noah through a friend of a friend. He's in preschool. He's doing okay. I think about him more than I should. I wonder if he remembers my voice, my laugh, the way I used to read him Goodnight Moon 5 times in a row just because he asked. Sometimes I dream about him. I wake up reaching for a boy who was never really mine. But I loved him. And in some ways, I always will. People ask me if I'll ever date again, ever love again. I don't know. Betrayal like that doesn't just fade. It stays with you. In the way you double-check every word someone says. In the way you hold back pieces of yourself. In the way you stop trusting your own instincts. Because you saw it coming and still stayed. But here's what I do know. There's peace in the truth. Even when it hurts. You can survive betrayal. You can survive being called a villain by the people who swore they'd always be on your side. What you can't survive. Lying to yourself. I almost did. But now I look in the mirror and I see a man who chose truth, even when it cost him everything. And that's something no one can take from me. The hardest part of healing isn't moving on from betrayal. It's learning how to live in a world where the villain wears your name, because you told the truth when no one wanted to hear it. But the truth matters. It always will. Even if you're the only one left standing with it.